we're back. Kenny Castor here, alongside with Brian Braunduin. This time we're going to talk about the Jund deck that I'll be playing. It was basically just, this is the same copy of the Jund deck that had taken second in the last Open. That was in Richmond, actually, in the Standard Open. I just want to touch over a little bit. It's basically the same deck that I played in the last video that I had done. There's one less scavenging ooze in the deck. I think that's basically just because, like, there's not a whole lot of Reanimator anymore. The decks are coming, it seems like the metagame is shifting to where it's like more Jund, more like black-white tokens. And then you have like the blue-white-red deck as your Sphinx's Revelation go-to deck. So we've got, the Thragtusk, Huntmaster, Olivia package, which are, those stay the same. Those just solid cards, solid creature cards. They do the best of what they do. Scavenging Ooze, like I said, it's very good against a Reanimator deck, but the 4 of it's probably not needed, so we just got 3 in here now. Another change to the deck is there is no Rakdos Keyrune. They're back to Arbor Elf. I want to say the Arbor Elf is just there to just like speed the deck up. I mean, yeah, it is, but like it's definitely one of the cards that like late game it's very not as impactful as like the rest of the deck. Well, I mean, besides like Farseek, just one of those cards that you definitely want an early of. So I could definitely see why there's only like a couple copies of it.
Basically just like Farseek 5 and 6.
Yeah, definitely.
Like
this one you can cast a Wolfren. So there's that. Just moving right along, there's still the removal package. There's just one Abrupt Decay, one Dreadbore, one Doomblade, a little just to cover everything, make sure your deck can kill anything that comes its way. 2 copies of Tragic Slip, 2 copies of Putrefy. They're kind of the go-to. They can kill any type of creature card. Any non-hexproof creature, I guess.
So like what do you think about the removal split? Like would you like how do you feel about it in general? Like
now I'm a big fan of Putrefy. When it first came out, I put 3 in the Jund deck. That might have been a bit ambitious because it costs 3 mana, but it does kill anything. If there is ever a time where you need to get that Wolfir Avenger off the table, no regenerating over here. So there is
that lot less troll or whatever.
yeah. But Tragic Slip, great card. Costs 1 mana to give something -13 most of the time. So you can't really ask for much better than that. If they were to just take off the text that said Morbid and then just the creature got -13, but
be a little too good, yeah.
4 copies of Bonfire the Damned. The card is just way too mythic for to play any number less. It's a very impactful card when you draw it. And can just instantly change the pace of the game. And for the Garrix and the Rakdos Return, this is kind of like the cards in your deck that are for like those Sphinx's Revelation decks that when they do resolve, most of the time against those decks, the game is going to be over. If you do get Garrick in play for a few turns or draw like 5 cards off your Thragtusk, you're pretty much just like way ahead. And the Rakdos Return, if you do get it to resolve, but it seems kind of weird, as the format is shifting, people are playing like a lot more counter spells. Huey Jensen's blue-white-red list from this Open had, I think, 2 counterflux in it and some dissipates, if I'm correct. So you might even be able to go back to like the whole Sire of Insanity, Cavern of Souls type of strategy. But they obviously, the deck didn't really need it to get second place. But as far as like the Invitational and further opens, and maybe that could be a strategy when people are playing less Turn and Burns, less War Leaders Helix to just instantly kill it.
Yeah, I mean, it does actually seem like Sire is probably getting a lot better now than it was before. Like like those decks are all in on counter spells now. So like Cavern on Beast for Thragtusk or like Cavern on Demon for Sire, like it's gonna wreck them.
And it's definitely a metagame call because this deck didn't have. We'll go over to the lands. There are no Cavern of Souls in the deck. There are actually 3 basic lands, and that's just a concession to Burning Earth. So we'll figure out how to beat that card later.
Yeah, I honestly wonder if that's even worth it, to be honest. Like, I don't know. Like, if someone plays a Burning Earth against you, I don't know if 3 basics are even enough to really win the game. Like,
you tap your Arbor Elf and untap your basic.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's true, but like, maybe it's just not even worth bothering and just trying to win.
Yeah, I would definitely go with some Cavern of Souls. So we've got that. We've got the rest of the duels. Pretty straightforward. We got all the shocks that we can play. 4 Woodland Cemetery, 3 Dragon Skull, and a Rootbound Crag. And then we got, like I said, the couple couple forests, and a swamp in here. That's about it as far as the main deck goes. So we'll move right along to the sideboard, and then we'll get the games going for you. All right, moving right along to the sideboard, we have 3 copies of Liliana of the Veil, 2 copies of Tragic Slip, 2 Duress, Rakdos Return, just one of, 2 Barter and Blood, 2 Curse of Death's Hold, Grafdigger's Cage, and Underworld Connections. I felt like this sideboard is a lot more versus like the Sphinx's Revelation type of decks, because you do have like the Rakdos Returns, the Duresses, the Connections, and the Lilianas that you can bring in. I feel that like in the main deck there are only like, I want to say about 4 copies of cards. Like I said, the 2 Rakdos Return and the 2 Garruk are really for the control matchup. That when you do get it to resolve, then you're pretty far ahead. So basically you just want to switch out some of the removal spells for just some of these impact cards against the Sphinx's Revelation decks. And that's the Lilianas, the Underworld Connections, the Duress, and the Rakdos Return. We have a couple Curse of Death Holds in here for just like the token strategies, maybe an elf strategy. We've got Barter and Blood just for the Hexproof decks, where Liliana doubles against those decks as well. Tragic Slip for just any type of creature decks, mainly just like Thundermaw decks, so you can like kill something else and then slip their Thundermaw pretty easily. And then the Grafdigger's Cage. You do have, it could probably be the 4th Scavenging Ooze, but you know, to each their own. This was just the winning deck list, so I copied it card for card.
Yeah, like I'm not like, I can understand the Grafdigger's Cage, because like it's a graveyard spell that doesn't prevent Scavenging Ooze from still eating stuff.
Right.
Like if you play a Ground Seal and you play a Scavenging Ooze, it's just like a vanilla 2/2 then.
Yeah, yeah.
But with Cage, like you can still like get creatures.
Right.
But I don't know if it's like worth it or not. Like like the 4th Ooze just seems awesome. So
yeah.
And I mean it may be worth it, but I still think a 4th Ooze would be like really good in the sideboard for this.
Yeah, definitely. But and also like if you do have like multiple oozes or ooze-eye, then you can just, I mean, it's not going to like, you can keep pumping the 1 instead of like having to switch between the 2 and making like 2 medium-sized creatures versus like 1 huge creature.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of like decisions to be made when you have multiple oozes. Like
yeah, and especially in that matchup, you need to like build your Scavenging Ooze up to get past the Thragtusk.
Yeah.
While still not getting an Angel's Serenity. But this is a sideboard, so give us a minute and we'll get right back with some games for you.
Yep.